Marvel's lore on its characters, settings, and events are far more expanded on than you'd think. For example, werewolves didn't just come from some random curse or mutation. It was actually from the wolf demon Varkalok, spawned from the chaos god Chthon who could turn wolves into men. Then later on, these early humans were captured by these alien space scientists called the Fortesquians that used alien science combined with earth magic from Varkalok to create werewolves. This would then create a gene within a person's ancestry. It can lie dormant, but if a person who has this gene reads a page from the Darkhold, the dark book of black magic that was written by Chthon, their werewolf gene will activate. It's pretty overwhelming sometimes, to be honest, and a lot of this is similar to the origins of the vampires in Marvel. The Eternal Night for Season 1, an amazing update for Rivals, is primarily based off the Blood Hunt event from the main 616 Marvel continuity, but of course with some changes. Dracula was not the one who started the Eternal Nights in the comics. He was actually trying to stop the Eternal Nights because it would have decimated his vampire nation he was trying to create. In the comics, Blade caused it because he was possessed as a vessel by Varnae, the first vampire, using magic to corrupt the users of the dark force energy like Cloak to block out the sun. In Rivals, Dracula had used pages from the Darkhold to block out the sun and using combined power from the pure blood chronovium he got from Doctor Doom to try to complete it and turn everyone into vampires. With the Fantastic Four, Iron Man, Doctor Strange, Moon Knight, and Squirrel Girl trying to stop it. It's a really amazing written story. A lot of people want Dracula to be playable, like how they want Blade to be. Now, I would love to be able to play as Blade and Dracula, but I would even love more to be able to play as the originator of the vampires, the one who created Dracula, Varnae. Now, who is Varnae? He's rather suspicious and overall character. Like, for example, he wasn't born a vampire, but we don't know if he was born a human or a Gigantopithecus. You know, the extinct gigantic ape that a lot of people theorize that the modern Sasquatch is actually descended from? Which is really weird because they're from Asia and Varnae's from Atlantis. Well, pre-sunken Atlantis. And if he was one, he'd be a Gigantopithecus that was also a sorcerer from Atlantis. But that wouldn't be the weirdest thing Marvel came up with. He was still an Atlantean necromancer called Varnae. The first sorcerer supreme named Agamotto would summon powerful sorcerers who would be the avatars of the other gods like Gaia, Set, Chthon, and more, and settle some conflicts that they had. Varnae was a follower of Chthon. He was led by a man named Thulsa Doom. 500 years after this meeting in Atlantis, Thulsa would be slain by the man named King Kull. After this, his followers, including Varnae, would attempt to use magic to transform themselves into powerful monsters, using Chthon's magic. And because Varnae was injured by Kull, he wanted to be the first one to transform, becoming history's first vampire. His other followers attempted to control him, resulting in him attacking them and turning them into vampires themselves. 500 years after that, in 18,000 BC, would be the Great Cataclysm, an event that would cause the sinking of Atlantis. Varnae would then go into a deep slumber to allow time to pass, but from time to time he'd awaken. One time he had awoken before taking control of a vampirized Atlantean species and headed to kill some mercenaries who had the Darkhold scrolls called the Montesi Formula, a spell that could wipe out all vampires. He was going to then transform them into true vampires until the trio Zula, Red Sonja, and Conan the Barbarian stopped them. Varnae would survive and escape. After this, he'd spend years spreading the vampirism across the world, spawning all different types of vampires. Many centuries after this, including trying to raise Atlantis again, several cultures would become aware of who he is, giving him several names like Baal from Babylonia, Tsathoggua from the Chocho people, and Croatoan from the Native Americans. In around 1000 AD would be when he fought the iconic Avenger Thor, after attacking a Viking settlement in North America. After several millennia of his endeavor, Varnae grew tired of all of it and decided to have a new Lord of the Vampires, turning a man named Vlad Dracula into the vampire Vlad Tepes Dracula. I think I've given a good amount of lore already. Of course, this isn't a lore video, this is about fitting Varnae into Marvel Rivals, but I did want to give you guys some context about his character history. Now, how would I go about fitting Varnae into Rivals? We gotta go over his design, class, his controls, and other stuff like alternate designs, emotes, MVP, etc. I want to go over his design first. I opted to combine both designs he's had. There's been more than two, but his classic design of having an ape-like body is the most common one, at least the most common design trope. And I really liked his newer design in Blood Hunt, so I wanted to combine them both. Lore-wise, it's not known if he's a human or a Gigantopithecus, but I wanted to leave it up in the wind in my lore. His most used design ironically looks almost nothing like he's supposed to be. I see almost no vampire-like qualities, or qualities even similar to a bat. Sometimes he has fangs, but that's it, and other designs are almost completely different, giving him that bat-like design. Both apes and bats have a larger upper body with a smaller lower body, so I combined them both. When Varnae wants to walk on all fours, it's a combination of an ape's knuckle walking with how a bat crawls on all four legs. I did give him these smaller wings that are way too small to even lift his huge ass off the ground, as a part of his design to show that he doesn't follow traditional vampire design tropes, so he pretty much has large red fingers at the most. I modified his design a bit. He has his usual humpback, but in some designs, he's got these disgusting bulges on his back. At first, I just put a large tuft of fur on his hunchback, but modified to show these growths he has. Marvel Rivals loves adding in little details that can show the lore of the character. Varney was transformed because of the Darkhold. What if he has these Darkhold incantations on him, on the membranes of his wings? Every time he lands an attack, a symbol appears. It was hard trying to get the designs for them, since in the items section, you can't just zoom into the item to see its details. So I tried to access the 3D file to even get some sort of reference, but I didn't really get anything. An alternate design is pretty much his usual comic design. The weird ape body, the ape face, the earlobes, hunchback with the warts too. And another alternate design is his appearance in Bloodhunt. He's a support vanguard with HP of 550. Now to go over his attacks. Now, Varnae isn't exactly a physical fighter. He's more of a tactician. Many of his achievements are through planning and time, but he is 100% capable of melee fighting, like when he fought Thor at the Viking settlements. He's still not a tanky character though. For rivals, Varnae would be one of the support vanguards, like Penny. His primary attacks are 4 large swings from his arms. First a claw, then a backhand, a claw, and backhand again. They do about 40 damage each swing. His passive is healing called Blood Draw. He's a vampire, he's obviously going to get stronger with blood, so whenever he finishes a combo, he absorbs the enemy's blood and grants himself 50 HP. That's one of the reasons why he's so tanky. Even though he doesn't have a lot of HP for a vanguard, around 550, and if he's getting attacked by multiple enemies, as long as he's finishing his combo, he will absorb HP from the enemy and gain more of it, still staying in the battlefield, and it can stack too. His secondary ability is the Darkhold. He used this when he possessed Blade and fought Thor. He can ensnare the enemy team for 2 seconds, giving him and his team enough time to land as much damage as possible, and if this attack finishes its 2 seconds, it gives Varnae 100 HP. This also works well with his other abilities. His first ability is his Vampiric Mark. It inflicts vampirism onto the enemy team, but can also be inflicted on the teammates. When the enemy gets hit with a mark, and whenever your teammate has vampirism, they will do a lot more damage to any enemy that is marked, giving your teammate a damage boost and HP boost, while the marked enemy loses HP much faster. The animation is a bite that can do 25 damage, having 3 chances. He can consecutively bite 3 enemies but has a cooldown period of 20 seconds. His second move is a mist ability. Varnae is able to transform into a cloudy mist, and for 3 seconds, he's invulnerable and can maneuver wherever he wants, even going at a faster speed, though it balances out for only being 3 seconds and has a 30-second cooldown, very similar to Scarlet Witch's and Hela's ability. His third is being able to shapeshift into a wolf, run at fast speeds, then bite down the enemy to deliver damage. This can be used to escape a corner or run down the backlines to get at a healer. In his wolf form, as soon as he bites down, he transforms back into Varnae and can latch onto an enemy for a blood draw. For his ultimate, I opted to use his transformation, like when he fought Thor, being the same size and strength as Monster Hulk, doing massive amounts of damage and emitting a 10-meter field of the Dark Force, draining enemy HP, and any teammates within his range get boosted with damage output, speed, and HP. He can grab onto an enemy and drain exactly 50% health at whatever health they're at. So if they're at 200 health, they'll be brought down to 100. 50 health will be brought down to 25. So like with every character, there's lore attached to them. Honestly, I haven't really come up with any lore that can match Varnae into Rivals. I tried, but I am on a deadline, and within this deadline, I was just not able to come up with a good enough story to match him. However, I will upload a video on my own lore for Varnae. Varnae's team-ups can be included with Cloak and Dagger, since of course both Cloak and Varnae are connected to the Darkhold, giving Varnae invisibility along with Varnae giving 10 seconds of vampirism to Cloak and Dagger. An emote for Varnae would be similar to how one of Reed's emotes is him studying the Darkhold and Herbie knocks it over. He'd be studying the vampire verses for his emote and it would just continue. As for his MVP, it would basically be him finally being able to resummon Atlantis, with Atlantis rising above the ocean. Namor would then fly to him, and it would pause when Varnae rose in his monster form as soon as Namor was about to strike him. I have this art for his overall design. That's about it for how I'd fit Varnae into Rivals. I have a lot of plans for these types of videos. I do have plans for other characters being fit into Rivals too, with higher quality. Thanks for watching, support my Patreon, follow my socials, please be kind to yourselves and each other. Thanks for watching.